This Nigerian garden egg stew is one of the most delicious food you'd ever taste in your life. It originated from Edo State, Nigeria, and it has been saving life for decades. It is usually eaten with boiled yam, boiled plantain, potatoes, or even fried yam as well. It is made from garden egg and it is so delicious, nutritious, and healthy, and you can use it to eat rice if you like. The unique thing about this Nigerian garden egg stew is that when you taste it the first time, you definitely want to have it taste again, and it is ridiculously cheap to cook. It is one of the most affordable Nigerian food that we have today. Make this African recipe, you have to get your garden egg and you have to wash it properly. You can use salt or you can use a lot of water to make sure you wash out every dirt, and also scrub the body as you are washing it to remove dirt, dust, sand, because you know how it is, buying stuff from the Nigerian market can be so life draining. After washing, next we are going to go ahead to transfer it into a very clean pot, and we are going to pre-cook it, like boil it until it's soft, and then process it to a very delicious recipe that you can eat, a delicious delicacy that you can eat with yam, plantain, potato, and any other thing you feel like eating with. Once I put it in the pot, I went ahead to add about 2 or 3 cups of water. Just make sure the water covers the garden egg, and then I'm going to go ahead to boil it with salt, just little amount of salt, though I did not show that part. Make sure to cover it very well and let it boil. So after some time, it's been boiling for about 10 minutes now. I came to check, and as you can see, it's still very hard. Some parts are soft, some parts are hard, so I'm just going to flip it over to the soft part so that everywhere can cook evenly, and then we're going to check it again. You know, it's a vegetable, it doesn't have to be overly cooked. So as you can see, I already drained the water and it is properly cooked. Now the fork can go into it easily. That's a sign to show that it is properly cooked, and it's time for us to pound it. So I have this my small mortar that I use in my kitchen. I'm just going to go ahead to put the garden egg into the mortar, and I'm going to pound it. If you have a food processor, you can go ahead to use a food processor, but this is the local way that we always cook it during those days when our mothers are in the kitchen making this delicious garden egg sauce for us. This is the local way of doing it. Just, you don't have to make it very smooth, just pound it roughly, because of course it is vegetable, it is meant to be chewed, so we're just going to pound it roughly, and we're just going to go ahead to fry it. So I'm transferring this part into a bowl, then I'm going to put the other portion, because my mortar is a very small mortar and it can't contain everything at once. So I already pounded this part, I'm transferring it into the bowl. After that, I'm just going to go ahead and blend onions and pepper together. This is 1 medium-sized onions and a lot of pepper, because this recipe requires a lot of pepper. But if you don't want to eat spicy food, it's okay, you don't have to use this much pepper, but I love spicy food. So I'm just going to go ahead to prepare my blender, but I added little amount of water to it because I don't want the pepper and onions to spoil my blender. You guys know my blender is not a very strong one if you have been following my recipe. So this is me trying to set up the blender and plug it to the electric and go ahead and blend it. So yeah, this is it. I already plugged it and I'm trying to stir it, pause, on and off on the blender until I achieve what I want. So the pepper doesn't have to be really smooth, but it's okay if you want it very smooth. You know, African food is the kind of food that you can play around with. You can customize it to your taste, to your pockets, according to your budget, according to your health demand. African food is something that you can easily, you don't have to stick to one particular method of cooking it. After that, I'm just going to go ahead to chop some onions, because there can never be too much onions in food, right? If you're an onion lover, say hello in the comment section. If you don't like onions, you can just go ahead and blend it, but it's okay if you like to see chopped onions in your food. Next, I'm going to transfer palm oil into the fry pan. If you want to use vegetable oil, it's your choice, but I'm using palm oil for this recipe. The oil is slipping. If you want to know how to process palm oil, check out my videos. I have a lot of it. I have a particular video on how to get palm oil from palm fruits. So once the oil is melted, I'm still going to let it get hot for some minutes. Now it's hot. As you can see, I'm pouring in the onions. So I'm going to fry the onions for about 2 minutes. I don't want it to be burnt. I don't want it to be too fully cooked, but I just want the onions to release its flavor into the oil. After that, I'm just going to go ahead and continue with the cooking process. So yeah, after the onions is okay, it's caramelized already. I added the blended mixture. This is a blend of pepper and onions. There is no tomatoes in this mixture, so this pepper will form the base for our garden egg stew or garden egg sauce. So I'm adding 2 mango cubes because the garden egg is a lot, and I'm going to go ahead to add the garden egg. This is the first part, and this is the second part. I'm scooping everything into the pot, into the pan. I'm going to fry everything at once, and it's a very easy to make recipe. If you just want to know how to do it, you can definitely do it. It's easy to make and it is absolutely delicious. Now, if you don't want to miss your step, make sure you take this part seriously, because this is where you're going to combine the pepper base and the real garden egg. This is where this is in fact the cooking itself. The ones we have been doing ever since is meal prepping. So you have to settle down, you have to take your time to make sure to combine everything very well so that your food can come out amazingly okay. So I left it to fry for some minutes, and I came back to give it a stir, and I'm still stirring because you know when you are cooking, if you have not stirred to your satisfaction, you know that the food is not ready. So this is me. I just finished stirring it, and I'm just going to leave it for some minutes. But before then, let's add crayfish. What is garden egg sauce without loads and loads of crayfish? Crayfish must be there. Then I added seasoning cube again and a little salt, because the first one I added is not enough. Of course, you can see the quantity of the food we are cooking. It's so plenty. I had to store it in my freezer, and whenever I want to